Hi everyone, welcome to yet another potholder in our crochet along. This is potholder number 8, the Cinnamon Spice Potholder. So this potholder uses the Alpine stitch, which is a combination of the double crochet and front post double crochet to create this beautiful thick textured stitch that you can use safely in your kitchen. It is double-sided and it's crocheted in the round, so you won't have any seams and you won't have any sewing involved in your project. So we're gonna cover how to do the first few rounds along with how to close your potholder and add a chain circle. So before we dive into the pattern, let's check out our Crochet-Along Spotlight, which features a few of the amazing crocheters in our Crochet-Along. Now, without further ado, here are the materials that you are going to need to start your project. Alright guys, to start our potholder, we are going to make a slip knot, place it on our hook, and tighten it up. Now there are two different sizes of potholders that we can make. We can make a 7x7 or an 8x8. For the 7x7, you're going to chain 31. For the 8x8, you are going to chain 35. And if you'd like to make a custom sized potholder, you can chain any number. Alright guys, to start round 1, we are going to make a double crochet going into the third chain from the hook. So this is the first chain, second and third. So we're going to be inserting our hook here. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook under the top loop of the chain, yarn over and draw up a loop. So we have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. And I want you guys to mark this stitch with your stitch marker so that we know where the round starts and ends. Into the next chain, we're going to go underneath the top loop and we're going to make a double crochet. And we're going to do this all the way across, making a double crochet into each chain until we get to our last chain of the row. When you get to the last chain, we're going to make 3 double crochets all into the same chain, and this is going to be our corner. So this is what round 1 looks like right now. We're going to rotate our work so that we're working along the bottom of our chain. And this is the chain that we just worked into with the 3 double crochets. So we're going to skip over it and we're going to go into the next chain. We're going to go underneath the bottom loop of the chain and we're going to make a double crochet. And we're going to make a double crochet in each chain across until we get to our last chain. Okay guys, we're at our final chain. So this right here is our first double crochet that we made, and this is our beginning chain 2 that we kind of skipped over. So we're going to ignore the chain 2. We're going to go into our last chain and we're going to make 2 double crochets to complete our corner because we already made 1 double crochet into this chain. So this is a total of 3 double crochet. This is what our round looks like so far. So what we're going to do now is close it. So we're going to remove our stitch marker. We're going to insert our hook under both loops of that first stitch of the round, and we're going to make a slip stitch. So yarn over, pull through the stitch, and pull through the loop on your hook. And that just closes up our round really nicely. Again, we're gonna remark that first stitch with our stitch marker. And this is what round 1 looks like. Alright guys, to start round 2, we're going to chain 2, and this beginning chain 2 does not count as a stitch. So we're going to find our first stitch of the round marked by our stitch marker. We're going to remove it, and going into this stitch underneath both loops, we're going to make a double crochet. And we're going to mark this stitch with our stitch marker because this is our first stitch of round 2. Okay, going into the next stitch, we're gonna actually work around the double crochet and we're gonna make a front post double crochet. So to do that, we're gonna yarn over, we're gonna insert our hook underneath the stitch, kind of going in from behind it. Okay, so the post of the stitch is on our hook. We're gonna yarn over, draw up a loop. So we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. So that's a front post double crochet. So going into the next stitch, we're going to make a double crochet. In the next stitch, we're going to make a front post double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook underneath the post of the stitch so that it's on your hook, yarn over, pull that yarn behind it and up so that we draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. Make a double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to make a front post double crochet around the next stitch, and we're going to do this all the way around. So a double crochet in our first stitch, a front post double crochet in our second stitch. Now, since we have an even number of stitches, we're going to end this round with a front post double crochet around our last stitch. Okay guys, we're coming up around our corner, so just take it slow, 1 stitch at a time, because those 3 stitches in the corner, they can get a little tight. And there we go, we've gone around our corner and now we're on the other side of our pot holder. Okay guys, we have 2 stitches remaining, so we're going to make a double crochet in that second last stitch, and in the last stitch we're going to go around it and we're going to make our front post double crochet. This right here is our first stitch. This is our beginning chain 2. So we're going to remove our stitch marker. We're going to insert our hook under both loops of that first stitch, and we're going to make a slip stitch to close the round. And try to pull it as tight as you can. So if you're getting a little gap here, that's okay. It will close up as we do more rounds, but you can try to make your slip stitch as tight as possible, and that will make that gap here a little bit smaller. Now remark that first stitch with your stitch marker so that you don't lose track. And this is what round 2 looks like. To start round 3, we are going to chain 2, and again guys, this does not count as a stitch. So what's going to happen from here on out is whenever we see a double crochet from the previous round, we're going to make a front post double crochet and whenever we see a front post double crochet, we're going to make a double crochet into it. So I'll show you what I mean. First, we're going to remove our stitch marker from our first stitch, and again, we're going to find that first stitch, go underneath it, and we're going to make a front post double crochet to start the round. And mark this stitch with your stitch marker. All right, the next stitch is a front post double crochet, so we're going to make a double crochet into it, going into both loops. We have a double crochet here, so going around it, we're going to make a front post double crochet, into the front post double crochet, and go under both loops and make a double crochet, and so on. We're going to do this all the way around. So front post double crochet in our first stitch, double crochet in our next stitch. Alright guys, we're coming up around our corner, so just take your time. Whenever you see a front post double crochet, we're going to make a double crochet. Whenever you see a double crochet, we're going to make a front post double crochet around it. All right, we're officially around our corner, and now we're going along the other side of our potholder. We're coming up on our last two stitches here. So our second last stitch is a double crochet. So we're going to make a front post double crochet around it. And our last stitch is a front post double crochet. So going into that stitch, make a double crochet. So this round started with a front post double crochet, so it should end with a double crochet. Now find your first stitch of the round, remove your stitch marker, insert your hook into the stitch, and make a slip stitch to join the round. And don't forget guys, we want to remark that first stitch with our stitch marker. So at this point, your work is going to start to close and make a little pouch, which is exactly what we want. So this is what round 3 looks like. All right, to start round 4, we're going to chain 2, and this does not count as a stitch. We're going to remove our stitch marker from our first stitch. And round 4 is going to be the opposite of round 3. So we're going to start with a double crochet and then do a front post double crochet. So into this first stitch, the front post stitch, we're going to make a double crochet. And we're going to mark this with our stitch marker. Going in around our double crochet, we're going to make a front post double crochet. In the next stitch, make a double crochet, make a front post double crochet around the next stitch, and so on. So again, just like with round 3, we know we're doing it right when we make a double crochet into a front post double crochet, and we make a front post double crochet around each double crochet from the previous round. Alright guys, we're coming up on the last 2 stitches. So in our second last stitch, we're going to make a double crochet, and into our last stitch, this is the double crochet, we're going to make a front post double crochet around it. And this makes sense because we started with a double crochet, so we should end with a front post double crochet. Now to close the round, we're going to find our first stitch, remove our stitch marker, insert our hook under both loops, and make a slip stitch to close the round. Now remark this first stitch with your stitch marker. And this is what round 4 looks like. So for the rest of the potholder, guys, we are going to be alternating between round 3 and round 4. And you can end whenever you'd like. For the different sizes, there will be instructions for how many rounds to do. But if you'd like to make your own custom size, you can just keep repeating rounds 3 and 4 until you're happy with the length of your potholder. I'll be back to show you guys how to close it and add a chain circle. Alright guys, to close our potholder, what we're going to do is we're just going to make sure that the front side of our potholder is facing us. So this is the back side, this is the front side. Whichever side you like better, you want that side to face you. So we're going to chain 1 to start. And we're going to find our first stitch of the round. That's going to be where we insert our hook first. So remove our stitch marker. We are going to insert our hook into that stitch, going underneath both loops, and we're going to find the matching stitch on the back side. So the matching stitch is this one right here. So go into both loops, and we're going to yarn over, pull through both stitches. So we have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. So that makes a single crochet, and we're going to do this all the way across. So find your next stitch on the front side, go under both loops, find the matching stitch on the back side, this one here, go under both loops and make a single crochet to join them together. Alright guys, we're nearing the end, so do your best to just try to find your matching stitches and make a single crochet. When you get to the end here, just insert your hook into the front side of the stitch, if you can, and poke it out the back side, okay, and make your single crochet. So this is what our potholder looks like right now. You've now closed it. It's time to add a chain circle. So we're going to chain 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. To close your chain circle, we're going to find our last stitch, the single crochet. We're going to find the front loop, and do you see this loop? Do you see the bar here? This one? We're going to go into that bar, kind of like we're going on a diagonal, and we're going to yarn over, pull through those bars, and pull through the loop on your hook. And that makes a slip stitch. Now pull up on the loop on your hook and keep pulling to make a nice long tail. Thread a yarn needle with your tail. And going on the front side, we're just gonna insert our hook into the front loop of the stitch, go inside our potholder, and pull it through. That just closes up our chain circle really nicely. Now we can poke our needle through and bring it out the back side of our potholder. Make a knot and weave our end through a few stitches, and then when we're ready, trim the tail. So this is what our pot holder looks like. Yours will look a lot nicer than this and a lot longer. Alright guys, that is it for the tutorial. I hope that you guys enjoy this pot holder. This is my personal favorite, so let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you'd like to share a picture, you can do that in our Facebook group here. And I just wanted to note that this pot holder was late. It was a week late due to the fact that I did get sick, but we will be back to our normal schedule. So next week, we're actually going to be starting pot holder number 9. So I will see you next Wednesday on October 16th for pot holder number 9. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there, and I will see you next time.